trying to type it. I'll make this as quick as I can. So a couple things. It's sounding like from what you're telling me that the pain's being driven more from, it's related more to the elbow than it is to the shoulder. So that's just something to keep in mind with it. That could be anything, honestly. My just thinking straight out without seeing you do the movement, it's hard to tell when I can't see it and assess it like visually, but it could be something to do just with the mechanic of the movement. Especially with a push-up, there's ways that you could have just torqued the elbow a little bit, put a little too much on that, and then the body freaks out, the brain says, I don't like that, and you get pain. So what we want to do is first, we need to have a movement assessment. So we need to know the movement. We know it's the push-up that causes pain primarily, but we also need to be able to assess that movement in some capacity to see if it improves from what you're doing. So here's the question I have. If you get into the table and you were to do your push-up, you're saying that you can't even do it because it's painful. So let's not force that. Can you get into the hold at the top from here without too much pain? Can you get into here without any pain? If so, if you can get into here and you're good, how far down can you go until the pain starts? So we want to know those kinds of things. If you can get further down into that movement before the pain starts, that's something we want to know. But we want to be able to assess this movement. If it's just painful the whole way and you can't even hold the position, let's scale it back then to maybe where you use a wall. Get your hands up on a wall, back the feet up a little bit, and find out what position you can work with and do a push-up, but find where, if you're doing it and it doesn't cause any problem, there's nothing to assess. We have to find the position where you start to feel that discomfort in there, or you might feel pain, but you can still do it. Like, that's what we're looking for. And then that's the way you're gonna reassess it in the same position, okay? So first thing we would do is, if you're doing your push-ups, so if I'm here and I'm doing my push-ups, okay, here's my push-up, are your elbows typically flared out to the sides? Kind of this 90-degree almost flare. If that's the case, what I want you to do is I want you to think of tucking your elbows closer to your rib cage. You don't have to go all the way in, but if it was like a 45-degree or so position, kind of like this, and doing them from there. So try to do that first in the position that you've already chose to use as your test. Try and do them there. If you can do those and it's either pain-free, then great. Progress it back, toward the table if you can. If maybe it's not pain-free, but the pain is less, same thing, it's a good response. If the pain is still there, but you can move further through the pattern before the pain starts, that's a plus as well. So those are all signs, like good signs for us, that we have a good kind of test result. We have a good thing to be working on, and that's what you can work on, okay? So that's the first thing. See what happens with that first. After you do that, if the pain goes away, then that's it. Then we got it. We don't need to do any of this other stuff. If the pain's still there, if it doesn't change at all, maybe it gets a little better, but it's still there, let's do some sensory stim. So the way that you do it is we're gonna do it all around like the elbow where it's hurting, and then we're just gonna do it all the way up through the whole arm. So get like a cloth. It could be a washcloth, it could be a towel, something where you're not putting your knuckles or your own fingers on your own skin. Just kind of fold it up a little bit, and all we're looking to do is you're doing it like this. It's just kind of quick, and put as much pressure as you want. We don't want to dig into it, but enough to where you can feel it out. If it feels good, then you can put more pressure or more speed into it, or slow it down if you need to. So we're gonna get the inside of the elbow, we're gonna get outside, kind of like in the forearm areas there, we're gonna get all up in the muscle, right? All through the bicep, tricep, get it all up into the shoulder. So what we're looking is, I just want you to rub all this area, stay on each area for like 5-10 seconds, and rub the whole thing around for about maybe 30 seconds, 20-30 seconds, okay? So when you're done with that, reassess your push-up the same way that you did and see what happens with it. Does it feel better? Does it feel worse? Does it feel the same? Okay? So let's start with those two, and then let me know how that goes. If nothing's working with that, then we'll take it a little bit further and see what happens. But let's start there, okay?